So we've got a little roadmap or a couple of questions for you laid out here. If you say, I still want to do social purpose, but I'm not quite sure whether it's right. So we've laid out a couple of questions for you to consider the pros and cons and maybe some executional considerations. And you might have more, but these are just 8 questions that we believe are good ones to ask yourself. The first one is really fundamental. Why are you even considering to move away from advertising your own core brand story and move to social purpose? Is there something that you can't achieve by just talking about your brand where a social purpose can help? Secondly, and that's also a really important one, can you own it? Because the thing with social purpose is a lot of these causes are universal because they're societal issues. So to make them distinct to your own brand can be quite a challenge. And I mean, you only have to look at sustainability. There's so many sustainable brands out there these days. It's actually quite a challenge to still make it your own. So, and if you believe you can't, then you may have to either find a different cause or consider whether it is right in the first place. The next 2 points are about your consumers, and we've talked about this previously. Know the people that you're selling to, because are you sure that what your social purpose is about what your consumers really care about and want to hear, or is it potentially more about what you as a marketer feel proud of because that's your own moral compass? And it's one of the fundamental marketing lessons that you get in your first term at university. It doesn't matter what you think. What matters is what your target audience thinks and believes. So you really need to make sure that you're not talking to yourself, but you're aware of what your consumers want to hear. And the next one, who you're targeting, is similar to that, but this is more about, are you just talking to a narrow subset of your broader consumer base? And that's in particular important for more mainstream brands where you've got a wide target audience. You have to make sure that if you cater to a subset of your audience, you're not losing the rest. Brand cause fit, I think we've talked about this a couple of times. Find the right cause that's credible. And sometimes something that's a lot closer into your brand might work better than a social cause that you personally feel really strongly about. But people go like, why is the brand engaging on that? What do they have to do with this? And can they actually really make a change and a positive impact? And I think this is why Dove worked so well, because they found a cause that people could really connect with the brand, and it worked beautifully for them. The next question is, why don't you just do it? Why do you advertise it? Is it really better to talk about your social agenda? Sometimes it can come across as virtue signaling. There's also all the kind of executional minefield that you have to consider, that you're not ending up with a tick box approach or other things that consumers might not like in the way you've depicted it. So ask yourself, is it not just enough that we're doing it? And maybe it's at a lower level in your corporate communications where you bring it out, but maybe reserve your main advertising for your brand. It goes back to the first point. Why are you moving away from advertising your brand and talking about a social purpose? Know what you're wanting to achieve. Now, this might be more of a strategic consideration in the sense of if you don't know what you're aiming for, you'll never know whether you were successful. So you don't know whether you have to course correct or whether you should keep going. So this will help you to know where you're heading for and whether you're going to be successful. And then Benj mentioned it earlier on. If you do engage in a social purpose, do prepared that consumers will look closely, not just at the brand itself, but as at the corporation and the company as a whole.